Students, welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear.
Yes, sir, yes, can be.
Excellent, Pratap. Thank you. Okay, so how are you doing? Doing fine? Why we have so much few students? We have 6 students. Only 6 guys. Why? So we are on our way. Okay. So till the people come, let me go to your LMS. So this again a reminder to you. So on 25th of March, you have your final proposal submission. Okay. So you have to complete all the sections of your proposal and you need to submit that on 25th of March 2024. Okay. Just a reminder because you might forget the requirements. Right. Okay. So today we'll discuss a very, very important topic. That's lesson 9, quantitative data analysis. So could you please download that, open that article, open that PowerPoint file. Okay, so let's open this file. So here I'm going to teach you analyzing quantitative data. How to analyze quantitative data. Right. So these are the outline that we have. So we'll be able to answer these questions right at the end of this session. What is quantitative data analysis? Types of quantitative data. What are descriptive statistics? Then inferential statistics, and then presenting quantitative data. Right. How many of you installed SPSS? Last time I gave you all of SPSS, right? I in fact gave it to the batch leader and asked her to circulate it. So how many of you have installed SPSS? Can you raise your hands? Okay, there's of course Surya Rache has installed. Okay, because I will ask you to share your screens as well, right? So I'll ask you to share your screen. Show me whether you have installed. Not that I don't trust you, but again, internal controls are there. So it seems only 3 students have installed it, isn't it? So that's the problem. Be 3 students, right? So yeah, did you encounter any issues when you try to install SPSS?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Puta.
Niranjana, sir.
Yes, Niranjana.
Yeah, I tried to install it. There is an error coming after, like it's installed after double clicking that the shortcut that app. There is error is coming, sir.
Can you show me
Then
your screen?
I have.
Can you show?
Then I have. Then I have uninstalled that, sir. I'll share my screen. Sir.
Yeah, reinstall පුතා then. I think what was the error?
There is end-to-end setup error kind of thing. End-to-end setup error is there. There's a big dialog box. Yeah,
Never heard of.
in my office. Yeah, and in my office laptop actually I have installed that, sir. In that case, I think there was issue kind of thing. I think from office laptop. One of my friend also installed in his office laptop. He also encountered the same problem, same error.
Office laptop, you might not have got administrative rights, but that might be the issue. So
Yeah,
you have
might
to have
be, yes.
administrative right. Admin rights නැතුව පුතා install කරන්න බෑනේ. So ask your IT man help.
නෑ සර් මේ I excuse me sir. සර් IT එකනට කතා කරලා මේ ඒගොල්ලෝගේ admin user ඒ කියන්නේ user name password එක ගහලා install කරා. ඒ install කරලත් සර් ඒ කියන්නේ අර මේ මොකක්ද කියන්නේ මොකක්ද අර ඒක තියෙනවනේ අර මේ temporary අර මොකක්ද license එකේ code එක ගහන්නත් තියෙනවනේ සර්.
License code එක ගහන්න නෑ පුතා. License code එක ගහන්න නෑ. ඔයා හරියට instructions කියවලනේ.
ඔයන හරියට සර් ඒක instruction වලට install වෙන්නේ නැතුව ඇති.
නෑ ඔයා ඉස්සෙල්ලාම පුතා instructions හොඳට නරඹන්න. මට මේක දැන් පුතා මේක මේ ලෙක්චර් එක රෙකෝඩ් වෙන නිසා මට කියන්න විදියක් නෑ. because ඒක තව ප්‍රශ්නයකට ඉවහල් වෙන නිසා මේ ඒක නිසා ඒ දීර්ඝ ඉන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් එක පුතා කියවන්න. හොඳට කියවන්න ඒකේ තියෙනවා කරන්න ඕන දේ.
ඒකෙන් බලලා තමයි සර් කරේ මේ මම ආයි චෙක් කරලා බලන්න.
ඒක බලලා නේ පුතා කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඒක ලයිසන් කෝඩ් එකක් ලියන්නවත් ගහන්න දෙයක් නෑ.
ඒ ලයිසන් කෝඩ් එක සර් දෙන්න එක තැනක් ආවා මේක මේවා කරාම
අන්න ඒක තමයි.
එහෙනම් මොකක් හරි වැරදීමක් වෙන්නේ නැති සර්.
ටෙම්පරරි ලයිසන් එක දාලා පුතා තමයි යන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඒවනේ
හරි සර් මම ආයි චෙක් කරලා බලන්නම් සර් මම.
සහ පුතා ඊට පස්සේ ඒක ඉන්ස්ටෝල් කරගන්න මේ කියන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ පුතා ඔයා කරන්න ඕනේ ඉන්ස්ටෝල් කරපු කෙනෙක්ගේ මොකද ඔය පැකේජ් එක පුතා ඕනේ කම්පියුටර් එක ඉන්ස්ටෝල් වෙනවා. last 20 years පුතා ඒක 20 years නෙවෙයි last 10 years ওই පැකේජ් එක තමයි පුතා අපි මේව කරන්නේ. කිසි ගැටලුවක් ඇවිල්ලා නෑ. එතකොට ඔයා කරන්න
ඔව් සර් ආපු එරර් එක මම චුට්ටක් කියන්නද?
ඔයා මේ ස්ක්‍රීන් එක ෂෙයා කරන්න.
මේක සර් මගේ ස්ක්‍රීන් එකේ සර් මේ ෂෙයා කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ සර් මේකේ. මොකක් හරි ඒක මම මේ නෑ ෂෙයා කරන්න දෙන පොඩ්ඩයි. මේක සර් එරර් එක මෙහම the application has failed to start because its side by side configuration is incorrect. Please see the application event log or use the command line sx-trace.exe tool for more detail.
ඔයාගේ පුතා මොකක් හරි ඔෆිස් ලැප්ටොප් එකේ නිසා ගැටලුවක් ඇත්තේ. ඔයාට ඔයා පුතා IT එක්කෙනාට කියන්න ඕක මේව කරන්න කියලා. මොකද පුතා ඔයා මොකක්ද තියෙන සිස්ටම් මේ Windows 10 ද 11 ද?
මේකේ සමහරවිට 10 තියෙන නිසා මේකේ.
අපෝ ඒක හොඳට මේක. Windows XP එකෙත් පුතා ඔක දුවනවා.
මේක සම පොඩ්ඩක් එහෙනම් IT එකත් එක්ක චුට්ටක් ඔව් චෙක් කරලා බලන්නම් සර් ඒක.
ඒක පුතා එක්කෝ ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරද්දී ඒක හරියට ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් වෙලා නැහැ. අනිත් පුතා ඉන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් එක හොඳට කියවන්න. ඒක ටෙම්පරරි ලයිසන් එක ඉන්ස්ටෝල් කරලා ඒකේ කරන්න ඕන දේවල් ටිකක් තියෙනවා. මට ඒක මේ වීඩියෝ එක රෙකෝඩ් වෙන නිසා මට කියන්න තියන්නේ.
හරි සර් හරි. මම ඒක චෙක් කරලා බලන්නම් සර් ඒක.
අන්න ඒක පුතා බලන්න. ඒකේ තියෙනවා පුතා කෙරෙන්න ඕන දේ හරියටම තියෙනවා. ටෙම්පරරි ලයිසන් එක ඉන්ස්ටෝල් කරලා ඊට පස්සේ පුතා ඒකේ පොඩි දෙයක් කරන්න තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක හරි.
හරි සර් thank you sir thank you. මම බලන්න.
ඕකේ. ඕකේ පුතා. හරි. ඒක සාමාන්‍ය පුතා එහෙම මේ එහෙම වෙන්න විදියක් නැහැ. it cannot happen. ඒක පුතා එච්චරට මේක හොඳටම ටෙස්ට් කරපු පැකේජ් එකක්.
ඔව්. හරි සර් මම පොඩ්ඩක් චෙක් කරලා බලන්න.
ඉෂුව එකක් ගෙනාවා. හරි. ඕකේ දරුවෝ. thank you. නෑ ඒක ගෙන මේ පුතා ඒක කතා කරපු කොහොමද? පුතා.
ඔව්. හරි. thank you sir.
හරි. Okay. Anyone else who got any issues? DC లో අතීස්ව නේද? ඉන්ස්ටෝල් කරා කියන්නේ. ඔයාට මොනවා ඉෂුස් තිබුණාද?
නෑ සර් ඉන්ස්ටෝල් වුණා.
ඉන්ස්ටෝල් වුණා නේ ඒක තමයි. ඒක පුතා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් install නොවී තියෙන කිසි හේතුවක් නැහැ unless මොකක් කර පුතා පුතාලගේ system එකේ තියෙන issue එකක් වෙන්න ඕන. හොඳම දේ එමුණොත් IT manager කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් බලව ගන්න. සාහ් මේ instructions වල තියෙනවා යම් යම් දේවල් කරන්න ඒක හොඳට බලන්න. Okay, right. Okay, other than that, I don't think there would be any issues, but if you do have any issues, you can discuss, we can see. I will try to give you some advice, recommendations, what you could do, right? Okay, so let's come back to today's session. Right, now, first of all, we have to understand why do we do quantitative analysis? Now, the main purpose of doing quantitative analysis, you can see, the answer is given, is to make sense of numbers. Right? Now, if you are, now for an example, maybe in this class we have, let's say, 50 students. And for each student, there's an age, of course. Each person has an age. Now, by looking at those 50 numbers, can I make sense out of that? Now, ඔයාලට වයස් 50ක් තියෙනවා. 50 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. වයස් 50ක් තියෙනවා. You have 50 ages. By looking at 50, can I remember those things as well as can I make sense out of that? You can't. But on the other hand, if I calculate the average value, the mean value of the age, let's say it's 25, then it makes sense. Then I could say, yes, on average, the students are young. And I could remember also it's 25. So likewise, you do quantitative now, calculating the mean value or the average value is, right, quantitative data analysis. It's called descriptive statistic. There are different things I'll teach you. So to make sense, you do calculate and you do perform quantitative data analysis. And then what you do is you could do decision making. So finally, you will be able to make decisions based on quantitative data analysis. Now, for an example, if I can see that you are 25, and if I'm a manufacturer of certain items, so I will target younger population because my customer base might be you. In that case, I can target the younger population. Likewise, I could make valid decisions, different proper decisions by looking at data. Right, so that's the purpose of doing quantitative data analysis, to make sense and make decisions. And earlier also, I think in the earlier studies, you should have studied, there are 4 levels of measurement of data: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Nominal is basically names. Nominal data, you can only name that. Now, for an example, can you give me an example for nominal data? We'll ask some students. Now, these are taught to you in your early studies, maybe in your first year. We'll ask a student. Surya Rachi, tell us an example for nominal data. Nominal.
So names of the people.
Very good, Putha. Names of the people. Nominal. Gender is a nominal. It's a nominal kind of classification, right? Gender, male and female, it's only names, 2 labels. There's no order. I cannot say male 1 and female 2. I cannot tell that. I cannot say that males are superior than females or females are superior than males. I cannot tell them. It's only 2 labels. So these are labeled. You can label these items. So that's why it's called a nominal level. Then we have ordinal level. You can put the data in order. Then interval level, there are equal intervals. And finally, ratio level, where you can calculate ratios. Now, for an example, your income is a ratio level variable. So likewise, there are different levels of measurements. Based on these levels of measurement, you might need to understand what kind of analysis do you perform. So what do we analyze? Variables. Variables are characteristic that varies. Now, for an example, age is a characteristic of you, isn't it? Age is a characteristic that varies. My age is different from your age. Of course, it varies. Then data. Data is information on variables. So once I collect the ages, that becomes data. Then data set, list of variables. So I can get a data set of your age, name, gender, those kind of information. Then we have qualitative variables as well as quantitative variables. Qualitative variables are these are like, for an example, categorical, nominal variables like gender. Gender is a good example. You can take down qualitative variable gender. Then quantitative variable, of course, these are quantities that make sense. Now, usually age, then ROA, ROE, those are quantitative variables. Income, your income, company income, those are quantitative variables. Right. So then we have different ways that you can perform calculation, and you know that. Let me come to that now. There are two kinds of statistics. What are the two kinds of statistics? One is called descriptive statistics. Right? There are two kinds of statistics. One is the descriptive statistics, where you try to describe the data. And then you have inferential statistics, where you try to predict. You try to predict, see the impact. Predictions are done under inferential statistics. Right. To do this, we can use the package called SPSS. SPSS. SPSS stands for Statistical Package for Social Sciences. Statistical Package for Social Sciences. It's an abbreviation. SPSS කියලා කියන වචන අකුරු හතරක්. වචන හතරක් නේ අකුරු හතරක්. මොකද ඒ අකුරු හතර? Statistical Package for Social Sciences. There are 4 letters. SPSS. Right? Okay, so right now let's see where I'm going to take an example and teach you today how to perform data analysis using SPSS. Right? How to perform data analysis. Now I told you that there are inferential statistics. There could be inferential statistics as well as descriptive statistics. So how to perform these computations? Right. So that for that we'll take an example. So I have a nice example called. So give me a moment. I'll stop share for it. So let me see whether I have. So by using an example, I'll teach you how to perform this. So you should have installed SPSS, number one, of course. Right? Without SPSS, you cannot do these things. So please, I hope you have installed SPSS. And also I ask you to go through the videos. How many of you went through the videos? Even I mentioned that last time also. Either video well. වීඩියෝ තමයි බලන්න ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඊට තව එක වීඩියෝ බලන්න තියෙනවා. Okay. So let me now teach you by using an example, SPSS, and how to perform, data analysis using SPSS. So you'll understand it easily. Give me a moment. Okay, here you go. Okay, I'm trying to take an example and teach you. So I'm going to teach you SPSS today and explain to you how to do certain data analysis. Right. SPSS and data analysis. Okay, for that, so let me take an example and teach you. Okay. So let me create a folder in the LMS. So now let me share that with you. Because learning SPSS and quantitative data analysis is really important, and I'm going to teach you that. Okay, so let's call this SPSS. Still, you cannot see that folder. And I'm going to teach you SPSS by using an example. You know, in this world, one of the main ways to teach is using by examples. So I'm going to use that mainly. Okay, this is the SPSS file. And then the questionnaire. The question is also there. All right, and let me also take database. The database. Put the database source. Okay, right. Now you have three files. Let me put, yeah, I think that's enough, but again, let me put the entire thesis also. Maybe later on, if you want to see, you can see that. Okay, that's also there. Right, great. Okay. So now let me teach you SPSS. Okay. Before that, so under week 9, you will see there's a folder now. Go to LMS and you will see there's a folder SPSS. Please open that folder. And you will see there are few files. You can see there's a PowerPoint file, there's a Word file, there's again a PDF file, as well as there's going to be an Excel file. Right. Okay. Can you see that? Students?
Yes, sir.
Great, good. Good. Now let's try to open. This. Right, let's try to open it. So there you'll see, first of all, let's open this question. And then I'll explain what this question is all about. So please open that Word file questioning. Now here, this is about the purchase intention. Purchase intention of the premium version of a music application. You know that there are different music apps now, like Spotify. Now, in this particular music application, right, which is called the Canterbury Music Streaming Service, it's an app that you can download. Of course, it's a hypothetical example. It's an app that has, you know, the basic features as well as the premium features. Now, to access the premium features, you have to buy. You have to pay subscription. And premium features are not given free. So here in this example, what we are trying to do is we are trying to see what are the factors that impact the purchase to intention of this music premium application, right? The premium version of the Canterbury music streaming service, right? So let's open the PowerPoint file. That's a basic idea. So let's open the PowerPoint file. It says session SPSS for market research, part 1 to 3. Please open that. Right. I told you earlier in session 1 itself that a thesis, usually your research report, will contain how many chapters? How many chapters will be there in your typical research report? How many chapters? Can a student answer that question? I taught you this earlier. 5 chapters indeed. If you look at the slide, it's there. Very good. 5. Introduction, literature review, methodology, and then data presentation, analysis and discussion and conclusion. Now tell me, in which chapter do you require data analysis? In which chapter do you require SPSS?
Chapter number 4.
Excellent. Chapter number 4. Why chapter number 4? Because that's where you present your data, analyze your data, and you discuss your data. Discuss your findings, in fact. So it's chapter number 4. Right. So chapter 1, 2, 3, you don't need a single data to write chapter number 1, 2, 3. In fact, that's your proposal. Chapter 1, 2, 3 is very similar to sections in your proposal. And today we are going to discuss about chapter number 4. For this, I have taken this example where what are the factors? Now here it says Duke box, right? Duke's music streaming service. I have taken the Canterbury music streaming service. So if you want to see the entire thesis, the thesis is there. So I have given that thesis as well, so you can download it. So this is the thesis, the PDF file, good thesis. So based on this, I have created, right? And usually these are the tests that you will be performing once you get the data. But before we go to these tests, you have to understand what you are going to discuss. So here what you have to understand is, so let's go to the questionnaire. First in this question, you will understand. First, the respondents are given now, the trial users, the basic users, the free users of the Canterbury Music Service is given this questionnaire, right? It asks your gender, age, marital status, highest academic education, then monthly gross income. Likewise, several information is given. Occupation, how do you usually listen to music? Which platform do you use for music? And then section B has first the independent variables. Now, what kind of variables that impact the purchase intention of this music premium application? So there are these factors, opinion leaders, because some opinion leaders tell we might purchase certain things. Maybe some celebrities, they might tell that these are good items. So that's what those are called opinion leaders. So you can see there are few statements on opinion leaders, how that impact. Then functional value. Functional value of an item. That means functional value. What are the functions available in this premium app? That might lead to purchase intention. Then emotional value. Then conditional value. Then there might be an emotional value. Right? Particularly for certain items, you might have an emotional attachment. So that's called emotional value. Then conditional value, there are certain conditional things are there due to certain situations. You might purchase certain things. Right? Maybe sometimes it's because some certain things are on charity. You might purchase that, although you don't need that. Epistemic value. What do you mean epistemic value? So this is what you understand about the product, right? The epistemic value. The novelty, right? Some people buy certain items because of the novelty, because it's new and different. In social value, some people buy it because of they get a social prestige. And then finally, the purchase intention is there. The purchase intention is there. So likewise, you can see these are the factors. Now the purchase intention is called the dependent variable. Purchase intention is the dependent variable. Now, what are the earlier factors? These are the independent variables. These are the independent variables. So how many independent variables are there? Opinion leadership 1. Then functional value 2. Emotional value 3. Conditional value 4. Then epistemic value 5. Social value 6. And purchase intention 7. Sorry, that's the six independent variable. Purchase intention is indeed the dependent variable. And if you open the thesis, now I told you that there's this good thesis I had given you. So it's given in a diagram. So this is the thesis. So let me go there. A nicely done thesis. So let me show you the conceptual diagram. Here you have the conceptual diagram. Yeah. So you can see these are the independent variables. Functional value, social, there are in fact 7. Functional value, social value, emotional value, conditional value, epistemic value, then opinion leadership. So these are the independent variables, then the purchase intention. Right. So for the explanatory purpose, let me go here. And let me show you that. Okay, I'll put that over here. I'll put a next slide. Let's remove any. So let me take this. So looking at how to copy this. So edit. Okay, we select. Yeah, it should be a snapshot. Okay, that's it. So let me take it like this. So snapshot is taken and let it put it here. It gives designs in it. It's a nice design. I think what is the asset? No. The designs are not so good. So these called a conceptual diagram. So these are the independent variables. So how many independent variables are there? How many independent variables are there?
6 variables are there.
7. independent variables are there? Actually 6, in fact 6. What is the pain or 6 7 will appear. There are altogether 7 variables. Out of that, 6 independent variables and 1 dependent variable. Right? Altogether 7 variables, but 6 independent, 1 dependent variable. Right. So that's the first thing what you have to understand. So let me save it. Then let's go to the question. So yes. Okay. So here we say to purchase the premium app, these are the variables that have an impact. So let me put that as a okay. Factors influencing the purchase intention of the premium app. Let me put that on. Understood? So the factors are the independent variables. So usually when you are trying to buy something, these might be the factors that impact other than the price. And the 7-piece or the 4-piece. Here we have taken for a premium music app. These are the factors that impact. So how did these researchers came up with these independent variables? Can someone tell me? දැන් මේ 6 කොතනින්ද ගත්තේ? නිකම් මට ආවද අදහසක් මේ 6 ගන්න ඕන කියලා. කොහොමද ඒක? How these factors were selected? Good question. So here the thesis, it says they have gone through several literature. And then by looking at previous studies, as you can see, they have come up with this particular theory. And based on that theory, they came up with this 6 independent variables. Right? So that's how they came up with this one. That's why we always tell to look at the theory. Do a literature review. In the literature review, you'll understand. So this is the purchase intention. Independent, same thing. So these constructed to theory. The next question comes, okay, now how these variables were measured? Now let me take an example and explain that to you. Now let's take for an example, purchase intention. That's where you have an intention to purchase. Now let's go to the questionnaire. And you can see the last question was on that, isn't it? Purchase intention is the last question. It's called the purchase intention. Purchase intention is the last question. And there are, you can see, there's a table. You have asked the same question. I teach you what's this one. So let me paste it here. Okay, that's good. Purchase intention is there. Let me increase. The font size. Now this is only one variable, but you can see there are 4 questions. Now if you look at these questions, you will see it's almost similar. It's almost similar. Now for an example, it says, given the chance, I predicted I would consider purchase the Canterbury Music Premium service in the future. Given the chance, I predict that I would consider purchasing. So the person has an intention. So the same thing is asked again in another statement. So 1 to 5 is Likert scale, 1 highly disagree, 5 highly agree. Number two, it is likely that I will actually purchase the Canterbury Music Premium service in the near future. Then given the opportunity, I intend to make a purchase of the Canterbury Music Premium service. Number four, I would be willing to buy the Canterbury Music Premium service in the future. You can see the same thing is asked in 4 different ways. Can someone tell me why? Now to measure this particular variable, you ask the same thing in 4 different ways. Why is that? එක question එකක් අහුවා නම් ඇති. දැන් මේ බලන්නේ purchase intention. Purchase intention එක measure කරන්නේ එකම දේ 4 විදිහකට අහලා තියෙනවා. Why is that? You could have asked only one question. Why is that?
To check their intention of buying that purchasing.
Exactly. You ask again and again, you ask and see whether the person has understood this properly. Because sometimes, if you ask only one question on one variable, එක variable එකට එක question එකක් ඇහුවොත් ඔන්න ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙනවා. Right? වැරදිට තේරුම් ගත්තොත්, if the person understands that question in a wrong way, that's the end of the story. So therefore, it's usual, it's customary for one variable, you might ask the same thing with 3 or 4 statements. At least it said that to measure one variable, you have to use at least 3 statements at least. Like a variable, at least 3. Then what you do? You take the average of these 4 questions and create the variable. Now for an example, Mr. A, let's say, now I want to calculate Mr. A's purchase intention. Let's say Mr. A. Mr. A's purchase intention. How to calculate it? Mr. A's purchase intention. There. Now Mr. A has indicated 4, 4, 4, and 3. Can you tell what's Mr. A's purchase intention? Very simple. You'll take for statement A, so it's like what? 4 plus 4 plus, sorry, 8 plus 4 plus 3 equals what? 15 divided by 4, because there are 4 statements. How much is that? 15 divided by 4? 3.75. 3.75. Right? So this is Mr. A's purchase intention, 3.75. Likewise, you can calculate the average for this variable. So this I took only one example. Now there are another. Now if you go to the questionnaire, you can see this for purchase intention. Then there are 6 independent variables. Let's take the first one, opinion leadership. Now how many statements are there? 6 statements are there. Now if you want to calculate the opinion leadership for Mr. A, what you should do? Let's take opinion leadership. That what will dependent variable. Now let's take this. That's a dependent variable. No, let's take the independent variable. Okay. Well, let's say this is what Mr. A failed. Do not. Okay, let's say Mr. A failed for everything. Fine. He was very much influenced by opinion leaders because these questions, all these questions, 6 questions are asking about opinion leadership. No matter what, layout right. Can someone tell me what's the average opinion leadership of Mr. A? Mr. A average opinion leadership here.
5.
5. How did you get 5? You added all. So you get 30. 30 divided by 6. Average is 5. So likewise, for each observation, you can calculate for each person, you can calculate the independent and dependent variables. Right? Okay. Now let's go to the Excel file. So I give an Excel file. We'll go to Excel file. Canterbury Music Premium Database Excel file. Open it. Here. So now you can see that oil 1, oil 2, oil 3, oil 5, oil 6. Now this is for each customer's ID. Customers are there. How many customers are there? My goodness. There are 400 customers. So there are 400 customers. And for each of these customer number 1, gender is given 0 and 1. 0 male, 1 female, let's say. The age is given. The occupation categories are given. Right. The income categories are given. Right. Then the mode of listening is given. What kind of service is there? Then oil 1, oil 2, oil 3, oil 5, oil 6 likewise is there. These for this customer, right? What are these? Go here. Let's see. For this customer, what he has stated, right? What he has stated for these questions. So he has given oil 1, number 2. Number 2 means what? He disagrees. Opinion leadership has not that much influence him, it seems. Yes. Yeah. How can I say it's disagree? Because you can see number 2 is disagree. So in that case, now if you want to create the variable, oil variable, I'll insert here. You have to take the average. And using the average of these 6, you can create the OL variable. So let me tell OL variable. OL variable. So I put an underscore because you don't, in spaces, you don't allow spaces. So I said OL variable. So how to calculate that? Very easy. We'll say, we'll use the average function. Average of these 6 variables. Right? These 6 variables. So H2 to M2. Right. Then I'll take the decimals as well. And then I'll calculate the oil weight. Just remember, for the same variable, there are 6 sub questions. So to create the variable, you need to take the average. Right. And then you can see the FV variable is there. Right. What's FV? FV you can see here. Functional value. Functional value is there. So 7. There are 7 questions for functional value. So what I'll do is I'll insert here. And it's FV. You can see 7 statements are there. So to create the FV variable, I'll say FV variable. So I'll take again the average. Use the average function. Average. FV1, FV7. Then let me take for about 4 decimals. Okay, and I take on the rest of the things outside. Calculated. Great. So I took the average. Why you take the average? Because we have for each variable, you have 5 or 6 statements. So to create the variable, what I did was I took the average. Then we have EV variable. So there are only 3. So I'll say EV variable. Insert. Let's call it EV variable. So I'm going to take the average of this as well. Average. I took the average for the EV variable because you ask the same thing in 3 different ways. Okay. Then conditional value variables. You have 4 statements. Each customer has given 4 statements. So let's say CV variable. Variable. That's good. So let's call it average. And I'm going to calculate the average of these 4. And let's take 4 decimals. So it's customary to take 4 decimals. Then you can see EP1, EP2. So it's epistemic value. Epistemic value. So let's say EPV variable. EPV variable. So both these also I'm going to take average value. Average. And I take this 4. Okay, that's great. So then SV variable. SV stands what? Social value. Social value has how many variables? It has 4 sub questions. So I'm going to take the 4 sub questions for SV. Social value variable. Social value variable. So I'm going to take the average of that person. So for each customer, I'm going to calculate the average because you ask the same thing in 4 different statements because it's safe to ask the same thing in 4 different ways because sometimes the customers might not understand a single question. So that's why I ask 3 or 4 questions per variable and then take the average to calculate. Then PI is the purchase intention variable. You will say PI variable. PI variable. You can say, you can take the average, and you will take the average. Okay, average is good. Great. So you created now 7 variables. Right? You created 7 variables. That's what you did. Oil variable you created first by taking the average of these same 6 statements for this variable. So likewise, that's the first thing you have to do. Right? Is that clear? Okay. So you can see for each variable, there are 6 statements. You took the average per customer because each questionnaire is filled by a customer. So each row represents a customer. Okay. Okay. So after this, what you can do is once you do these things, you can now import this data into SPSS and do the computations. Right. So shall I try to do the computations? But before that, we'll see how to import. First of all, first thing what you have to do is you have to do these computations and close the Excel file. Import කරන්න කලින් SPSS එක Excel file එක save කරන්න. So please save the SPSS, the Excel file in here is the Excel file. So please save the Excel file. Right. Then let's see how to import this. So I'm going to close it. Then open SPSS. My easiest way is to go to Windows search and just type SPSS. See, I have SPSS 23. So just click on that. So it will open SPSS. So SPSS opens, it's quite a large package. So I'm opening SPSS. Yes, a query window comes. Usually we close this window. So it's ask okay different things. So but we close it. We just close it from here. And then you can see you get a kind of a Excel-like window. An Excel-like window is there, but it's different from Excel. You can see, although you see one window, there are 2 sub windows. Can you see at the bottom? Students, can you see at the bottom there are 2 sub windows? Very good. So one is called data view and the other one is called the variable view. In data view, the data will be available. In the variable view, you will have the variable characteristics. Now, for example, name of the variable, type of the variable, width, likewise, different things are there. Different characteristics are there. Right. Now in Excel, you have a workbook and you can have 3 sheets, but you don't need to specify the variable characteristics separately. You can just have the data itself in one sheet, but in SPSS, you cannot do that. Right. You will have a separate variable view as well as a data view for each sheet in Excel. So now let's see how to import data in Excel to SPSS. So why not you take down the steps? Right, please take down the steps. How to import the Excel data to SPSS. First thing you did, you had to do all the required computations and save the Excel file and close it. And afterwards, now let's try to import that. So how to import that? You will go to File. You will go to Open and you will go to Data. So write down the steps. File, Open, Data. Go to Data. Right. Then it will ask, okay, where is your Excel file? So in my case, it's in this place. So let me go there. It's in my E drive. It's a long way that we have to go, but again, I'll be quick, right? Then it's going to be drive. So spaces, right? Now, once you go here, you don't see any Excel file. These are all SPSS file because it ends with SAV, but an Excel file will end up with XLSL. Why? Because here you can see file type is SAV. So why not we change the file type into Excel? Oh, now you can see the Excel file. Did you identify that? එකපාරට පෙන්වන්නේ SPSS file එක. මොකද ඒක extension එක, right? Now, this is the extension that was there. SAV. SAV is the extension for SPSS data files, which you don't have. Now, what you downloaded was an Excel file. So Excel, so therefore choose Excel. So make this, if not, you won't see it. Then what you do is you select that particular file and press open. Then it says, okay, it's going to import, and it has selected the correct sheet, right? And also read values names from the first row. First row was the variable names in the Excel file. That's it. Press OK. Okay, see, the data came. In the data view, you have all the data. You have all the data. And if you go to the variable view, now you can see the variable characteristics are also given. Can you see? For each variable, how many variables are there? You can see there were several variables. Up to PI variable, there are several variables. So you can see there are in fact 46 variables, all 46 variables. These for oil, the 6 questions and the variable we created, it has all come here. Right. So the name of the variable is given, type. Numeric has been the type. There are different types. Usually it could be numeric or it could be string type, numeric for numbers. Then if you need decimals, you can have decimals, or if you don't need decimals, you can make it 0. Here it's given for 4 decimals. And then, not like in Excel, you can give even a label for your variable. Like for an example, you can say custom ID. You can give a lengthy. Now here, it's a short variable name. You can give customer gender. You can type lengthy and you can leave spaces, right? In the name, you cannot leave spaces, but here you can leave spaces as well as the label. Then custom age. Then custom occupation. Then customer income. Then mode of purchase. Actually, if you go to the questionnaire, these are all there. Now, what we are trying to do is we have taken this data already. Okay. You should listen to mode of listening. Mode of listening. Mode of listening. Then service. So what service they use, which platform? What platform to use? I put you on question. So likewise, we are good. And then OL1, OL6 are these. oil 1, oil 6 are these ones. Right, oil 1 to oil 6. If you want, you can copy and paste that. I'm going to copy these. I don't know whether it could be pasted. These are these 6 questions. Oh, yeah, it came very good. So 6 questions did come. And then you can copy these also as the labels for those 7 questions. So these are those 7 questions. Good, excellent. And the emotional value, there are 3 questions. I'm going to take those 3 questions, copy and paste them. And then the conditional value. 4 questions. Okay, great. Then the epistemic value. These are the 4 questions for epistemic value. EPV. And then finally, they're not finally, the social value is indeed the final independent variable, epistemic value. In fact, social value. And then finally, purchase intention is the dependent value. So you can see you can give a lengthy label, which I copied and pasted. And by the way, I have created the variables as well. This is the variable. These are the sub questions where I summarized and created the oil variable, the FE variable, EV variable as well. Then also now you can save this one. So you can save this now file because we had several things. You can save this file. And as you can see, the extension is SAV. I'll say OK. Antibody. Rename. Database. Or any name that you want. Right. I'll give V4 because I have already some files V4 for version 4. And I'm going to save that. Just hit save. Right. What I did, I went to file. I went to save because it's already saved. It doesn't come back. Save. And give save. Save, make sure. And then press save. Then it will be saved. But here now there's a problem. Now here, gender, it says gender has been coded. I should go here. Gender is 0 and 1. It's a code, it doesn't take male and female. So we have to tell the computer, we have to tell SPSS what's 0 and what's 1. So we can go here. And you can see gender, let's say female 0, male 1. There's no order, I just gave. Age, you have to write to it, so there's no problem, you don't need to code. So this is called coding. Rather than typing female and male, here you can see the data is given 0 and 1. 0 and 1. So therefore we could say customer gender. Now we have to tell the computer what's 0 and what's 1 because SPSS doesn't know what's 1 and what's 0. So you can use the value function here. You can use the value function here. There's a value label. You can go here and you can say 0. You can say male, female, or whatever there. If you want to make the other way around, no problem. 1 male. You can press OK. Now the computer knows what's 0 and what's 1. And if you want to see what with the computer knows that, you can use this particular label over here and you can press that. So it's now indicates what's 1 and what's 0. 0 and 1. So if you want to see the original values, you can press this is a toggle button. You can toggle back and forth. So age doesn't need any coding because the real age has been written. But on the other hand, you can see marital status is there. So marital status, you can see it's given from 1 to different values. So we'll say this is 1, right? Married with children, married without children, number 2. In number 3, let's say it's single parent, 4, single. There can be other status as well. We have very different status these days. Okay, others. So marital status. So now we can go here, and for marital status is not there, and indeed occupation is there. So marital status is not there, so you can forget it. Right. Then highest academic education qualification is also not there, it seems. No education qualification is also not there. Here are the occupation. Here also we can say, okay, all this not there, we can say 1 or no formal education. 2 for primary school. Number 3 for high school. This is coding. This whatever you can give, whatever the numbers you could give. For number 5, number 6, and number 7. Likewise, you can give different codings. Then monthly gross income, you can see the gross income. The occupation is also there. Yeah, here the occupation is there. So let's take occupation. Occupation, you can see professional manager, executive businessman, you can code it as number 1. Other white collar number 2. Number 3. Number 4. This is called coding. Coding means you give a number for these things. Because in SPSS, it's a quantitative data analysis package, so better give things in numbers. And then you can tell what are these numbers to the computer. 6 and 7. We have 7 categories for occupation. So occupation is there. So you can go here, custom occupation, and you can tell what's number 1. Copy and paste. Number 1 is this. This one. Okay. That's okay. Number 2, it's other white collar. Number 2, and number 3. Number 3 is students. Students. 3. Number 4 is blue collar workers. Those are laborers. And number 5, housewives, husbands. That's also the occupation, is it? Number 6, pension. Pension. Then others. Number 7 is others. Okay, that's great. So you coded that. 1 to 7 was set and you pressed OK. Now the computer knows for occupation, what are the occupation? And you can save here by saving this button. This is called the save button. Or if you want, you can go to file and save it as well. Whatever. Then income categories. Income categories, again, you can do this is as number 1. I think you got the point, right? So I'm not going to waste your time. It's number 2. It's number 3. It's number 4. It's number 5. It's number 6. Likewise, you can give the occupation we gave. How do you listen? Okay. 2 is 1. Let's see how it's being coded. Mode, yes, it's 1 and 2. So let's call this 1 and this number 2. Then which platform? The platforms are given the service. Radio, some people listen. Still, I see some people listen to radios. I prefer YouTube indeed. Listen to my music requirements. Although I'm not a fan of listening to music. No time to that as well. Six. And then others, they have to specify. Right. So we'll, since we have a few, we'll put this as well. Right. So if you now go and press this, now it comes because blue collar workers occupation, because it now knows. Then income, of course, we can put that as well. But again, let's do it for the mode of listening. Mode of listening. How do you listen to mode? So live on air is number 1. Or it can be downloaded music, offline music. Is number 2. And that, and we press OK. So now SPSS knows what that, and then the service. So it's also, you can see radio and other things are there. Radio. 1 is radio. 2 is the music application, this one. We are doing that as well. Then 3, television. Is television. Number 4 is YouTube. My favorite way to listen to music. I don't listen to music, I listen to educational programs usually. In fact, I watch that. Number 5, Facebook. I don't use Facebook. Great time waster for me. Okay, so that's it. So now SPSS knows, and again here you can see it's blue colored. That means something has to be saved. So I save, then it becomes ash color. And if you go to the data view and if you press this one now, you get all things download. So what kind of service they use? You can do the same thing for this as well. Now you can see for oil 1 to oil 6, right? So these variables, I can expand this, right? Now here, here you can see. Now these given in Likert scale. So you can give the Likert scale if you want. Oil 1, oil 6, you can see it's given in Likert scale. 1 to 5. I'm not going to do that because the variables were created. Great. Right. So that's how you create your data set in SPSS. Now these are complete data set in SPSS. So for the matter of completion, let's say OL1, number 1, I disagree, strongly disagree. As a matter of completion, right? Number 1 and number 2, then I'll show you small magic. Then disagree. Now see, in the first one, we should have put this one, right? Now this one, it should be capital. So we shall make S capital and press change. So it made it. Right? Then number 3, there was a mistake. Neutral. 3 is always neutral. 4. Grid. And 5 is strongly. So 1 to 5 is there. So now you don't need to again type for everything. You can copy this. You can go here, right click, copy, and you can paste this to other ones. So that's the best tip. Or you can maybe, I don't know, will it work? So all these are 1 to 5. It works great. If not, then we'll let go. Oh yeah, it worked. Okay. 1 to 5. So you can, once you create one, and if it is similar for all others, you can then take and copy and paste as well. And again, you can see this is blue color. You can save it. So welcome. You have created your first data set in SPSS. You first created the data set in Excel. Maybe it was in, maybe you had used Google Sheets at Google Forms, then the data could be taken into Google Sheets and you can download it as an Excel file, and then you can import that to SPSS. So that's how you generally perform, right? The mechanism. So you create an SPSS file. Now do this, watch this video again and do this. I don't know if anyone had done this with me, but if you had followed, it would have been great. But if you have not done that, don't worry. Don't worry. Right. Now, do you have any questions? प्रश्न दिया. Now, if you have watched my videos, I had asked you to watch 5 videos, at least 3 videos. These were there, right? More or less. More or less. I took a different approach. I took an example and I'm teaching you how to do different things in spaces. Now you have the data view and you have the variable. In the variable view, you have the variables and different variable characteristics. In the data view, you have the relevant data, and these are all actually numbers. If you want to click here, there's a number. So if you press this, there's a number. So that's what we call coding. Coding is where you give numbers and then you give a value label. Any questions? And after this, we'll be doing data analysis. We are doing data analysis. I'm going to teach you today at least 4 or 5 data analytical techniques and explain to you how to interpret that data. Right. In spaces, things are very easy to interpret. Any questions, students? So the question is, now we have to do this. Yes, indeed, do it. Not now. Watch this and do it later. If you have not installed spaces yet, then install it and watch this segment of video and do it. Now I'm going to teach you both descriptive statistics as well as inferential statistics, and I'm going to explain how to perform different analyses as well. And I'm going to explain to you how to test this model. Here actually this column model. The independent variables are there. So we'll see how to test this. Okay. Right. So I think high time to take a small break. Shall we take a small break? Break. And we shall meet at 8:15 exactly. And then we shall go till maybe, I don't know, till sometime, maybe 10, right? And discuss how to perform different kind of analysis in spaces. Okay. Okay, we'll take a small break. Okay, students, welcome back. I hope you can hear me. Students.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. And we can see you.
Excellent. Thank you, Nali. Right. Now you have the data set and let's now perform certain analysis. Right. Okay. You can see that some of the data here are categorical. Now, for an example, if you take gender, it's having two categories. Occupation, it's having, in fact, 7 categories. And income also it had. Yes.
The screen has a share with us.
Oh, thank you very much, Buddha. Taking, check me okay, Buddha. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Okay, I hope you can see it now, no? Then pay
Yes,
out,
sir.
Buddha.
Now it's
Excellent.
yes.
Thank you, Buddha. Immediately feedback able. If the Buddha, I would have gone and later on after 1 hour, if you had told it, it's too late. Okay. So, Buddha, now if you look at this data, you can see that gender is a categorical variable because there are 2 categories, 0 and 1. But on the other hand, age, you wrote the real age because in the questionnaire you can see the questionnaire that was given, you have to write the real age. Gender is a categorical variable, 0 and 1. Age, you have to write your marital status, again, it's a categorical variable. Highest academic education, categorical. Monthly gross income, it's again a categorical variable because there are categories here. Occupation, category. Then how do you how do you usually listen to music? It's category. So likewise, you can see that there are 2 kinds of variables. One is what we call continuous variables, and then we have categorical variables. Now in your earlier studies, you should have studied this categorical variables and continuous variables. A continuous variable between 2 points can have any value. For example, age can be 25.567. Your income could be 100,000.56789. Likewise, between could have any value, but categorical variables could have the categories. And we can see here now this OL variable, opinion leadership, then the functional value variable. Those are also Likert type variables, and we can consider them to a certain extent, not as categorical variables, not as also strictly speaking as continuous variables, but again we can do certain computations. Right now, why I'm telling this? Because remember very well, for categorical variables like gender, occupation, mode of listening, then what service do you listen, right, to music? Right? Those are categorical variables. Remember very well, for these categorical variables, we perform an analysis called frequency analysis. But for categorical variables, we perform an analysis called frequency analysis. Please take down a note on that. If the variables are categorical, you perform a frequency analysis. On the other hand, if the variable is continuous, we perform descriptive analysis. I'll teach you how to do these things. Right? I'll teach you how to do this. A frequency analysis as well as a descriptive analysis. Right? So let's take the first variable gender. Gender is there. Can you see? Gender is what? A categorical or continuous variable? Categorical or continuous?
Category.
It's a categorical variable. Why? There are 2 categories, 0 and 1, female and male, indeed. So let's now see how to perform a frequency analysis. For categorical variables, you are going to perform a frequency analysis. How to perform it? So write down the steps. You will go to analyze. Then you will go to descriptive statistics. And then you will go to frequencies. Analyze descriptive statistics, frequencies. And then what you will do is, then a nice dialog box appears like this, and almost all the variables are here. And then you can select the gender variable, which is a categorical variable. Then occupation is there. All right. You can take that as well, occupation. Then mode of listening. And what platform we use. All these are categorical variables. Indeed, income is also a categorical variable, but we did not code it, so I did not take that. If you want, you can take that, no problem. So yes, you took 4 categorical variables. And then you can perform. Make sure that this tick is there. By default, it's there. Display frequency tables. It's already there. And you can press OK. Just then the output, the tables come in a different file in SPSS, which is called the output file. You can see it's coming under output file. I'll expand it. Here. Now you can see, okay, the frequencies are here. Customer gender, female, male. So there are 400 customers, out of that 169 are female and 231 are male. So the percentage is given, so that's the main idea behind frequency analysis. 42.3% and 57.8%, altogether 100%. So this is what we call frequency analysis. In the percentages for the particular categories. Then custom occupation. Yeah. Now, by looking at this, what can we say? The majority are females or males in this sample. In this 400 samples, the majority are males or females. Now, this is data analysis. Right. Now, you should be able to now get insights. Majority are whom? Your customers. The users of males, indeed, 57.8%. So that's an insight, because yes, you might need to target certain marketing campaigns for these music listeners who are males, because majority of males, but of course, females are also 42.3%. That's a huge amount. Then we have the occupation. Who are the majority? Who is the majority? Who is the majority?
Blue collar, sir.
Blue collar people. That means the laborers. White collar means people like you, accountants, and who are doing that executive jobs. Then blue collar means who is doing labor type jobs. Right, 43%. Okay, so your customers are coming under that category. So you have to understand you cannot have higher prices, isn't it? For these kind of guys. Mode of listening. Majority of your customers listen how? How do they listen?
Offline.
80% of your customers listen offline. So your streaming service should have that ability as well. Right? They would like to listen offline. Seems like in Sri Lanka, in this particular country, people might have having an issue related to the internet cost. Right? Maybe I don't know, maybe or maybe not. Then you can see these are the different ways, the platforms that they use. What's the most popular platform that they use to listen music? What's the most popular platform? YouTube, isn't it?
YouTube.
Very good. YouTube. So likewise now, so for Canterbury Music Premium, you can see The free service is used by only 12.8%. So you can see the major is 28. So that's your direct competitor. So you might need to think, okay, what to do, right? Likewise. Number 7 should have been coded as others. I think you can see this was there's number 7. Here. Other. So this should have been coded as number 7. I will put number 7 here. We had missed out, so let's put that. So let's go to service here. 7 is missing, so let's say others. And okay. And if you again perform a frequency analysis, analyze descriptive frequencies, you should press OK. Now others is there. No. So likewise, you can generate any time. Now, how to report this? In your research papers, this is being reported usually like this. So let me show you that. Okay, here. Yep. This is called a demographic analysis of this gender, age, demographic analysis, male, female. Now, the samples will be different, don't worry about that. But you can see, this is how you report, and the number and the percentage. There was several other information in those tables, but these are the usual things that you will see in the research papers that you are going to get. So you can see here in this case, you can see the females are having a higher percentage. And of course, here single people are the highest, and highest education qualification. Yes, bachelor's degree people are the highest. Likewise, you can get different information. Okay, so that's for a categorical variable. You are going to perform a frequency analysis and see in spaces how easy that is to perform a frequency analysis. Now, in your research papers, you would see this kind of frequency analysis. At the exam, you might be given a table like this and asked to interpret this. So tell who is having the majority, who is having the minority. Now, for an example, if you look at this table, you can tell a lot of good things. Right, let's go back. Okay, now you could say male female percentage, so the males are the higher here. And you can see here, blue collar people are high. And then the next highest is going to be professionals. 109, so 27.3. Mode of listening. Majority are listening downloaded music, so that means there's a big issue for you. You should have that capability where the music should be downloaded into your app, because they are listening, they are not streaming it, they are listening downloaded music. And then you can see here, YouTube and Facebook together accounts for almost 52% or 53%, right, of how people listen to the music through YouTube and Facebook. That's a huge problem for you. And together, likewise, you should have insights. So those are the insights that you can get out of this. And if you are the developer of this music app, you need to think, okay, so your major competitors are YouTube and Facebook. So what can you do regarding that? What can you do regarding that? So you have to give extra. Now, I told you in digital business strategies object, if you really want to attract good customers, then you have to give something unique to them. That's what I was calling what? Unique value proposition, UVP. So you have to see what can you give in addition to YouTube or maybe Facebook. And you can see the minority here. are using some other types of way to listen to music as well as radio. You can see only 5%. Okay. I don't know whether people watch television, right, to listen to music. I can't remember when in my home I don't have a. There's a television that I bought about 20 years ago. It's there. We have never watched that. Right. We don't waste our time at our home. Right. We get our news fix from websites and maybe YouTube, but not television. Because we don't know, we don't need to waste our time. But again, if you are a TV watcher, go ahead, please watch TVs and movies and everything. For me, even, you know, that's a big luxury, even to watch YouTube, right, and listen to music. Right, so that's about how you perform a frequency analysis. What you did, you went to analyze, you went to descriptive statistics, and you went to frequencies. Got a point? Right? Is there anything that you want to clarify? Now, these data analysis. So now you know one kind of analysis to perform. And now when you read your research papers, you will see that they also might have given these kind of analysis. Right? Frequency analysis for certain demographic variables like gender, occupation, or some other categorical variable. Any questions? At the exam, you'll be given these tables. No, you are not going to be asked to create files, right? I don't think you'll be given that, of course. At the exam, of course, you'll be given the output and you'll be asked to interpret. So you should be able to interpret that. Right. Okay. Then, so that's the first analytical technique I taught you. What's the first analytical technique I taught you? What's the first analytical technique I taught you?
Frequencies.
Frequency. Excellent. Frequency. Then now let's go to the second analytical technique, which is called descriptives. So in fact, it's descriptive statistics. Now frequencies I perform for categorical variables like gender. Now descriptive analysis are usually performed for what? Continuous variables like age variable in this case, because age is given as a continuous, and Likert type questions where we have interval. It's Likert type questions are interval variables, interval level variables measurement, right? So we perform descriptive. So you can go to the second one. How to go there? Analyze descriptives and descriptives. Okay, here let's select age variable and then let's select those variables we created. We created OL variable, opinion leadership variable. Then what? FE variable, the functional value variable. Then the EV variable. Then CV variable. CV stands for what? Curriculum vitae, no, conditional value variable. The EP variable, epistemic value variable. And SV, that's the sixth independent variable. And then finally, the PI variable, the purchase intention variable, social value and purchase intention. So these are your continuous variables, right? Or ratio type variables, as well as interval level variables, Likert type variables. And before you hit enter, right? Okay, you can go to options. Can you see there's options? You go to options and you can see mean is already by default selected. Here the standard deviation, minimum, maximum. You can even select kurtosis and skewness. I'll tell you what are these, right? Kurtosis and skewness. I'll tell you what are these, and you can press continue. And you can press OK. Oh, now a nice table comes up. And since this table is very important and really important, I'm going to copy this table. You can copy any table in SPSS output file, output window, and I'm going to put that to the Word file. So let me open a Word file. And because in SPSS, it's unable to make it large. Right, okay. And let me put the layout. Portrait, like landscape. Okay. Okay, the variable is there. The table is, I just copied and pasted. Now let me elaborate. Now you can see the variables are that age variable is there, custom age. You can see there are 400 customers. You can see the minimum value. Minimum age is 18 and the maximum value is 82. Right? So what's the range? Range, the statistic range means what? The difference between the maximum and minimum values. Now these are taught to you in your first year statistics course. Did you have first year statistics course? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, is it? Now see how easy. Now those days you should have used what? Pen and pencil and everything to calculate this. But or maybe the calculator. But in SPSS it takes 2-3 seconds to do the computation. And it gives a nice table, not like in Excel. In Excel, you might need to take 10 minutes to 20 minutes to create this table, but in SPSS, it takes only few seconds, few clicks. And see the first one again. So you can see the age statistics are here for the age variable. So 18 and 82. So difference between 18 and 82 is called the range. Maximum, the difference between maximum value and the minimum value. 18 and 82, what's the difference? What's the difference between 18 and 82? That's called the range.
64.
64. 64. So that's called range. Then mean is the average. So what can you tell about your customers? Are they very old on average? Or are they very young? Or they are a little bit middle-aged? Yes, you can see they are a little bit middle-aged. Right? So what's this skewness and kurtosis? Skewness and kurtosis. Very simple thing. Let me go to your presentation. Let me teach you what skewness and kurtosis. Here. Now, usually, let me put that to the presentation mode. Usually, you expect a normal curve. You expect the data to follow a normal curve, a bell-shaped, nice symmetrical curve. But sometimes it's not the case. You can see it can be negatively skewed. It has gone to this side. Or it can be positively skewed. It has gone to this side. Right? In fact, left side. This right side. Negative skewness, right side. Positive skewness, left side. So that's called skewness. So ideally, if it is nicely symmetrical in this manner, we will call it, we'll have the value 0. The skewness value should be 0 for a perfectly nice bell-shaped curve. But what's the value we have got here? You can see skewness value, you can see the statistics is 0.630. It's 0.6 again, not 10, 15, 3, 4. It's not 15.63. It's 0.63. Ideally, this value should have been 0 if the bell-shaped curve was there. The symmetrical, perfectly symmetrical bell-shaped curve was there. But you can say there's a slight positive skewness. Slight positive skewness. Then what's kurtosis? Kurtosis here is about this. Now you again expect a nice bell-shaped curve like this in the middle. Right, this is the perfect bell-shaped curve, but sometimes the data might be peaked in this manner. So we call that positive kurtosis. Sometimes the data might be plateaued. Then we call it negative kurtosis. We will see that shortly. We can now visualize the data as well. I'll show you how to visualize the data. If you go there, you can see it's what positive skewness or kurtosis or negative kurtosis. Slightly, there is a negative kurtosis. Slightly. It should have been ideally 0, but it's 0.134. So you can see it's slightly having a negative kurtosis. Right. It's a little bit plateaued. Shall we visualize that? Right. We'll visualize that as well. Right. Can draw a histogram to see the distribution of the data. But before that, did you understand what's minimum, maximum, mean? There is a standard deviation. Standard deviation is the square root of the variance value. So how much it deviates from the mean value? 37 plus 13, 37 minus 13. So that's the deviation, standard deviation. Standard deviation means deviation from the standards. The standard deviation is the mean value, how much it deviates from the mean value. 13, so 37 plus or minus 13.20 something. If you can see how it deviates. So this is what we get for custom age. Then you can see, let's go to the purchase intention, the main dependent variable. How to interpret that? So again, you can see 395 customers have indicated their observations, and the minimum value, maximum value is 5 and 1. So the range is 4, and the mean is 2.8. Do you think that's a good value? 2.8. Remember the Likert value. 1, highly disagree. 2, disagree. 3, neutral. Related to purchase, right? So let me show you the question. So I think I remember this. Here, 1 to 5. So it's around 2.8. Not so good, isn't it? So people, right? So on average, it's below 3. 2.8 is below 3. No? On average, these 395 people have indicated on average 2.8. That means it's below 3. What can you say? What can you say? Are these customers are very willing to buy this music premium app? Would they like to subscribe? Are they very enthusiastic to buy this app? What can you say? No.
No.
No. From a 1 to 5 scale, it's 2.8, which is below 3. 3 is the neutral value. Suppose it had been 4 or even 4.5 or 4.7, then we could have told, okay, out of 5 scale, they are willing to buy at 4.7. That means they almost highly agree to buy this. But here it indicates it's not the case. Right? It is not the case. So that's a little bit of a concern that we have to look into. And then you can see here we have all the independent variables that we created in Excel. Right? So I'll color this in a different color. And you can see oil variable, opinion leadership. What can we say? What independent variable has the greatest impact by looking at the mean value? What had the greatest impact? More independent variable එක the වැඩිම impact එකක් තියෙන. Which has the highest value? What has the highest value? Social
value.
Social value is 3.29 out of 5. All others are below that. That means people would like to purchase this app because of others are using that. Society. We do certain things because of other people are doing that. Societal thing. Why people buy cars? Why people buy big homes, luxury class, BMWs and everything? Actually because of others. The same wheels would be, you need a decent car indeed, right? But again, I don't know. My perception is very different. I don't know whether we need a car in Colombo because we have Uber, Pick Me and everything. So really, you need to have a car. Of course, you need a home, but that's also a reasonable home. Not to have a palace. Right? But again, let's not go into that discussion. So yes, the highest, the independent variable is 3.2. What's the lowest one? What's the lowest one? Lowest one is what? 2 point
Functional level.
functional level? Yes, indeed. Functional level. That's a bad indication. That means the functions that this app has, the customers don't that much like. That's an indication of that. Not enough functions compared to Spotify and other things. Right. Now, standard deviation also indicates certain things. Now, out of the 6 independent variables, what has the highest standard deviation? What has the highest standard deviation?
EV.
Last one. EV. EV is the emotional value. That means a lot of customers have different opinions. The standard deviation goes up because the perceptions differ. Adhas venas nan thamai, perceptions venas vidiyata dila nan thamai, මෙන්න මේ standard deviation එකට. The standard deviation goes up if there are different perceptions given, different responses given, people think different. So here, the emotional related to the emotions related to this app, people have different opinions. So we have tell that has the greatest, kind of disagreement or less agreement compared to the other variables. But what has the lowest standard deviation among the independent variables?
Opinion leadership.
Opinion leadership, indeed. So a lot of people do agree compared to the other independent variables. A lot of people do agree their perceptions are quite going together for opinion leadership. So therefore, the app developers need to think about the EV, emotional value, and see what could be done to that. And they could leverage on the opinion leadership because there's a lot of customers are in agreement that opinion leadership for this app would work. So that's how you would interpret descriptive statistics. And now let me show you, as I told you. Now again, listen to this video 10 times because I'm going to give you at the exam these tables. I'm going to give you a frequency table and I'm going to ask you, okay, interpret that. I'm going to give you a descriptive statistics table and I'm going to ask you to interpret that like this. So see how I had interpreted. It's going to be very, 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 very important. Then skewness and kurtosis, I told it's about distribution, skewness, right? Where I expect a bell-shaped curve, but it might be skewed to the left or skewed to the right. So shall we see? For this example, what kind of skewness and kurtosis is there? How to draw a histogram? Now write down. Please write down in SPSS, drawing a histogram. We'll draw a histogram and see how it deviates and how the distribution is there for the age variable. So now, earlier we went to analyze, but now we shall go to graphs. Can you see there's a menu called graphs? And I'm going to go to legacy dialogues. And then you can see the last option under legacy dialogues is histogram. So write down the steps: graphs, legacy dialogues, and histogram. And yes, so when you click on that, the histogram dialog box appears. So it's very easy. You take the age variable and put it over here. That's all what you have to do. So the age variable and put it over here. That's it. Press OK. And we'll see. So you can see it's skewed to the left. It's skewed to the left, isn't it? So it's positive skewness. Yes, we saw earlier when you got the output. Output was up here. You can see for the age. Yes, the skewness is 0.63, slightly positively skewed. And you can see the middle is plateaued. Right, it should have been coming as a nice. Now, if you want to draw a bell-shaped curve, you can double click on this. The chart editor opens, and then you can fit. You can show distribution curve. You can just click on this, and then close everything. Close this property window and then this window, and you can see. So you can see it's plateaued, isn't it? It's not very much nicely symmetrical over here. It's plateaued. The data has been plateaued over there. So that's why we have a negative what? Kurtosis. Slightly negative kurtosis, not very high. So you can see it's here -134. So that's where when we drew a histogram to see the distribution. Right. This is a graphical presentation or graphical representation. And also, if you want to see graphics, I can also draw a pie chart for you to see the composition of gender. So please take down drawing a pie chart in SPSS. That's another visual analytics. We call this visual analytics. You visually see how the data is there. So you will go to graphs. What's that? View control. Right, you will go to graphs, legacy dialogs, and you will go to pie chart because pie chart will show the distribution, the proportion, and the distribution proportion. So summaries of group of cases, yes, please select that one, go to define, and then define slices by. The pie chart, you can define slices by. Let's draw it for gender variable, customer gender. Because gender, we have males and females. Just put that over here and press OK. Let's see. A nice pie chart come within seconds, and you can see the female percentage and the male percentage. Okay. Male percentage and the female percentage. So males are higher. It's green color, isn't it? So likewise, you can draw charts as well. Of course, there are numerous charts you can draw. This is only one type of chart I'm showing you. Okay. Is it clear? Now I taught you several types of analysis. I taught you a typical frequency analysis for categorical variables. In descriptives, I explained how to generate descriptives for age and all other independent dependent variables. And also I taught you how to draw a histogram as well as a pie chart, which are type of visual analytics. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. It's not difficult in SPSS. Once you create this file, it's a matter of generating this output. Just you have to know how to click and then generate the output. Okay. The next thing I'm going to teach you is the correlation analysis. Correlation analysis. Correlation analysis. What does correlation analysis show? So let me go over there. Yes. So I have given these things, this information. Descriptive statistics. So these are the correlation analysis. In slide number 52, 56, 55, it says, right, what's a correlation analysis? A correlation analysis indicates the relationship, the association between two variables. So the correlation coefficient can range from -1 to +1. Can you see -1 to +1? So -1 means there is a very strong negative relationship. +1 means there's a very strong positive relationship. So that's the correlation analysis. And on the other hand, the correlation coefficients plus or minus, it ranges from 0 to 0.2 is a weak or no correlation. 0.2 to 0.4, weak correlation. 0.4 to 0.6, moderate correlation. 0.6 to 0.8, strong correlation. 0.8 to 1, very strong correlation. Now, if you have minus 0.45, how can you interpret that result? Minus 0.45. How can you interpret that result? Minus 45. Minus 0.45. How can you interpret that result? So how many students are there now? It is a No, I'm not going to එක්කෙනෙක් එක අහපු ගමන්ම දිව යන්න. නෑ මං අහන්නේ නෑ. Because I don't want to disappoint myself. Minus 0.45. How can you interpret that result, Puda? Anyone?
Moderately negative.
Yes, there's a negative
Moderate.
moderate relationship, because again I told you it's plus or minus whatever the value, you will say it's moderate. So it's minus 0.45, it's in this range. So you say a moderate negative relationship. Here it's a moderate positive relationship, right? So likewise we'll interpret. Right, now to see the relationship, you can draw scatter plot diagram between two variables. Let's see how to draw a scatter plot diagram. Now for an example, now here, what's your independent variable? You have 6 independent variables, isn't it? What's your dependent variable? Your purchase intention. So we can draw a scatter plot diagram between purchase intention and maybe age, maybe oil, opinion leadership. Right? Shall we draw a scatter plot diagram between this independent variable, opinion leadership, and purchase intention? How to do that? Please take down drawing a scatter plot diagram. Before you do a correlation analysis, you can visually see the correlation between those two items. So you could go now to graphs, legacy dialogues, and now you are going to go to part scatter dot diagrams. So please take down graphs, legacy dialogues, scatter dot diagrams. And yes, use simple scatter. Simple scatter has one x-axis and y-axis. You say define. And for always remember this rule. For always for the x-axis, put the what variable? The independent variable. In this case, let's say oil. We take one independent variable. Opinion leadership. Then what's the dependent variable? Purchase intention. So I went to down and I put the purchase intention. And I will press OK. We'll expand this. Here, what kind of relationship is there? What kind of relationship? When opinion leadership goes up, purchase intention seems going up. You can fit a line if you really want to do that. You can double click on this diagram. And then you can see here, you can fit a line. Add a fit line at the total. You can use this small icon over here. Yes, it says OK, linear. And you can close the properties as we did earlier. Close this as well. Yes, You can see this line has a positive slope. So when opinion leadership goes up, the purchase intention goes up. Right. So that's the relationship. There's a positive correlation, it seems, by looking at the scatter plot diagram. But now I'll teach you how to do a correlation analysis in SPSS. How to perform a correlation analysis in SPSS. How to do that? It's very simple. We go to analyze. Then now go to correlate. And go to bivariate. By bivariate means two variables. We call bicycle a bicycle because it has two wheels. We call biannual because it's 2 half of the year. Right. Analyze, correlate, bivariate. Click on that. And then let's take the two variables. Here I took one, the PI, the oil variable. And also I took the PI variable. And you can see Pearson has been selected. You can leave it as it is. And you can press OK. Let's take this table out into my Word file so you can see it better. Now look at this very carefully. I'm going to tell a very important point and maybe we can stop with that today, right? Now, what kind of a correlation is there between OL and PI? You can see here this is a matrix. OL and OL, so it's 1. The same OL and OL, it's 1. So ignore that. Here PI and PI, that's 1. We are not interested in that. We are interested in this OL and PI over here. Same thing is repeated because it's a metric form. PI and OL, same thing. Let's see. But remember this rule very well. Remember this rule very well. Don't immediately go and interpret it as this as a weak negative, weak positive relationship. Before doing that, look at the sig value. Right? Listen to this very carefully. What's the sig value? I'm going to explain. Look at the sig value. Right? What's the sig value? The sig value, now I'm going to explain. Right. Let me go to this slide and explain that to you. What is sig value? Let's go here. Now, in statistics, you know there's something called confidence level. In day-to-day language also, we have the same confidence level. Now, if I ask you, let's say in exactly 1 month's time, like, right, or a little bit more, maybe 1 month and about 10 days time, maybe. I don't know exactly, but you might have your final exams. You don't have much time, right? Almost end of April or mid of April, I don't know, and maybe mid of April we'll have our new year. End of April, you're going to have your exams. Let's say you come to SAB in a good nice morning to write for the research methodology paper. And let's say I'm the supervisor of that exam. I'm staying at the door and I'm asking you, you are now entering the exam room, the examination hall, and I'm asking you, how confident are you that you will pass this exam? But how confident are you now? Just visualize. After 1 month and 10 days or 5 days or whatever, I don't know. You're going to have your final exams. Of course, you're going to have that. And now you are entering the room, the hall. Just visualize. Then I am near the hall, near the door of that hall, and I'm asking you, how confident are you that you will pass this exam? The students who watched the videos, who did the exercises, and who were really serious about this, I could tell, sir, I'm 100% confident I will get an A+. Same thing here, confidence level. How much confidence are the result holds? The result is true. not mere due to the randomness, but you have a real systematic relationship. How confident are you? But on the other hand, there might be another student who was there in the lecture, but who never got the things. You did not practice, you did not really attend properly. And you had all other reasons and you did not study. Let's say the student, I would ask, that person would say, sir, I have 50% chance that I will pass this. Also, I have less than 50% chance I will pass them. Same thing here. Confidence level is that. How much confident are you that there's a real relationship between these two variables? So my question to you is, would you like a higher confidence level or a lower confidence level? Usually in statistics, you know, we take 3 levels of confidence, 90% or 0.9, then 95% confidence in a percentage or 0.95 as a fraction, then 99% 0.99. What do you prefer? Higher confidence or lower confidence?
Higher.
Higher or lower? Higher the better, isn't it? In statistics, you will always expect a higher confidence, like you would when you enter the room, the examination hall. I ask, okay, 99% or 100%, you will say, you would say, yes, sir, I'm 100% confidence that I'm going to pass this exam with an A plus. For that, you have to work hard indeed. But on the other hand, yes, higher the better. So in statistics, we say at least you should have a 95% confidence level, right? At least you should have a 95% confidence level. So it's 0.95. The same thing is given as significance level. You can see 90% confidence level could be written as 10% significance. So 95% confidence is written as 5% significance. The 99% confidence level is given as 1% significance. Or 0.10, 0.00, 0.05, then 0.01. Now tell me, would you like a higher significance or a lower significance?
Lower.
A lower significance. Why? Because when you say, because it's the same thing told in different ways. The, you know, two sides of the same coin, right? So you can either express using confidence level or the significance level. So you can say 95% confidence means 5% significance. So yes, you are very correct. So to have 99% confidence, that means you have to have 1% significance. That means usually we say the significance level should be less than 0.05. Why? Then only you will have more than 95% confidence. More than 95% confidence. Please keep that in mind. Right. Now, having that in mind, first look at this. At the exam, when you are given, don't interpret this, but look at first the significance level. Are you happy of the significance level? Remember, this value always should be less than 0.05. Then only you will say that there is a real systematic relationship between the OL variable, the opinion leadership, and the purchase intention. If it is not there, you will say, if this value is above 0.05, you will say there's no relationship. There's no real systematic relationship. You wouldn't say that there's a positive weak relationship between OL and PL. Right? Here, fortunately, you can see this value here is less than 0.05. It's in fact 0.02, which is less than 0.05. So in that case, you will say, right? You will say what? There is a weak positive correlation between opinion leadership and purchase intention. Right? Got the point? Let's test your knowledge. Let's go back to our correlation analysis and let's go to our data. Now let's see, I can now also put like this, right? Correlate, I'll go to bivariate, so to partial analyze, correlate, bivariate, and let me take other variables as well. You can put a lot of other variables together, right? We'll take PI back and put first the independent variables. It's easy to interpret. Right? You took oil, then FE, functional value, then EV, systemic value, then CV, conditional value, then EPV, then SV, the PI. Right? So the PI is the dependent variable. I put it at the end and I press OK. Now you get a large table. So let me take that large table into parts of Word so you can see much better. Okay, let's take it to another page. Okay, now see. Now you can see. Make it smaller than you can see. Okay, it's very easy now. Here you have your PI, purchase intention variable. And you can see your independent variables are top. Oil, FE, EV likewise. So PI variable is there. Right. What kind of relationship is there between PI and oil? We interpret that there is a weak. Is what weak what? Weak positive relationship. Now tell me, students. Now this is the next variable. FV variable, functional value variable, PI, the purchase intention, and functional variable. What kind of a relationship is there? What kind of relationship is there? Students, look at the sig value. No, no, no. Look at the sig value. This is the correlation coefficient. But I was telling, before you look at the significant, before you look at the correlation coefficient, look at the sig value. Sig value is the probability value. How confident are you? Right, look at that one. Here, look at this one. Here it's 0.32. If it is 0.32, you will conclude there's no, because it's above 0.05. I told you this value should be always less than 0.05. Right. For the time being, I'm going to delete all these things so you'll see much better. So I'm going to delete these things. It's the same one. This. Right, then you will see it much better. You don't do that. I'm going to just show you that. Now see, PI variable and the oil variable. Right, the Pearson's correlation is there. This is a correlation coefficient. And FP variable, this also the variable. But here see, for the PI and FP variable, the significance level is 0.320, which is well above 0.05. In that case, you have to conclude what? There is no systematic relationship between functional value and purchase intention. That's how you have to conclude. Then if I ask this question from you, what's the relationship between emotional value and the purchase intention? What kind of relationship is there?
No relationship.
No systematic relationship between, very good. No systematic relationship between EV, emotional value, and purchase intention. Now please tell me, right? How about the conditional value and purchase intention? Is there a systematic relationship?
No.
No. CV, you can see, and PI, you can see, you cannot say this is a slight positive relationship. You cannot tell that because this value you can see is above 0.05. So you will conclude that there is no systematic relationship between conditional value and purchase intention of this music premium service. Right, let's go to the next one. How about EPV, epistemic value and purchase intention? Is there a systematic relationship? Can you say that there is a slight positive correlation between EPV and PA? Can you tell that?
No.
You can't. Because again, this value is well above 0.05. It's in fact 0.138, which is about 0.05. So yes, we will conclude there is no systematic relationship. But how about this one? The social value and purchase intention. Is there a systematic relationship?
Yes.
Yes. Because the sig value here is 0.005, which is in fact well below 0.05. In that case, you could say there's a slight positive correlation between social value SV and the purchase intention of this music premium. Right, keep that very well in your mind when you are to interpret the correlation coefficient. First, look at the sig value and see whether the value is less than 0.05. That means you have more than 95% confidence that there's a real systematic relationship between the given two variables, the independent and the dependent variable. If this value, if the sig value is above 0.05, what you have to conclude is you don't have confidence to tell anything. You say that there's no real systematic relationship between the two variables. Understood? So that's how you do a correlation analysis in SPSS and how you interpret the result. Is it difficult? No. SPSS does the difficult calculations. And here what you have to do is just interpret the result. Okay. Clear? Right. So I again recommend this to you. Please watch my 5 videos. If you don't have time to do it, then at least watch today's video. Today I teach you how to create SPSS dataset within this short time. It was a great challenge, but I took that challenge. Within this short time, I taught you how to get data from Excel to SPSS and then create a data file in SPSS. Then how to perform frequency analysis, how to perform a descriptive analysis, how to draw a histogram, how to draw a pie chart, and how to even do what? Correlation analysis. Next day I'll be teaching you how to perform a regression analysis. I think that's enough. And then you'll be able to read and understand the research papers that is there. That your core research articles you'll be able to read and understand. But I think that's enough for today. Right? Correlation analysis is up to today. The regression analysis I'll teach you next time. Okay. Any questions? So please kindly watch this video. Right? At least this video. If you are unable to watch those 5 videos I gave you, which if you are really serious, I recommend that. The next day, what I'll teach you is I'll teach you regression analysis, then testing of reliability and validity. Then I'll teach you, okay, for your objectives, now you have got your objectives, what kind of analysis that you can perform. With this example, I'll tell what are the objectives of this research and how to perform, how to achieve those objectives. I'll teach you. Okay. So with that, I think we can conclude for today. Do you have any questions? So please kindly watch this video again. And if your time permits, please watch those 5 videos I recommended highly. So I explain these same concepts in a different way by taking a different example. Okay. Right. I see 30 students still with me. Great. Okay. So please do go through this stuff. It's going to be really important. So please, first of all, install SPSS and watch today's video. All the exercise files are given. Download them from the LMS and do it. And at the exam, what I'll be doing is I'm not going to ask you to perform the analysis. Of course, you will be given, a paper-based exam, of course, not a computer-based exam. So I'll be giving the outputs. I'll be giving the correlation output. I'll be giving the descriptive analysis output. I'll be giving frequency analysis output. I might be giving charts, and I'll be asking you to interpret the result. Interpret the result. Okay. Okay, so I think it's high time to say bye for now. If you do have any questions or concerns, you can ask me. If not, we'll meet next week. Okay. Any questions? No questions. Okay. So in that case, good night. Thank you very much. Please watch this video and ask questions if you cannot understand next time. Again, I'll take the time to explain to you till you understand. But it's your duty to go through and enlighten yourself. Okay. Right. With that, then we'll finish. Thank you. Thank you very much.